الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به الغمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. فاللهم اجزه عنا وعن والدينا وعن الإسلام والمسلمين خير ما جزيت به نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته. اللهم أحينا على سنته وتوفنا على ملته وأوردنا حوضه واسقنا من يده الشريفة شربة هنيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. ثم أما بعد, my dear respected brothers and sisters, in the month of Rabi' al-Awwal, Muslims around the world, they commemorate the birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who conveyed the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as perfectly as it could be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, يَا أَيُّهَا الرَّسُولُ بَلِّغْ مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ وَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلْ فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَتَهُ. O Messenger of God, convey the message of you, Lord, to the people. And Al-Quran also talked about this ummah, the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, using the same verb, al-balagh. الذين يبلغون رسالات الله ويخشونه ولا يخشون أحدا إلا الله. Those who convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fear no one else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was required to convey the message, not to add anything or to delete anything from it. And we as ummah are also required to convey this message to others by living this message, by understanding and following the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Who said also in one of his hadith, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, convey on my behalf even one ayah. If you understand one ayah of the Quran al-Kareem, just convey it to others. It's our job as Muslims to live Islam, and not only live Islam but also convey Islam to others by our words and by our actions. However, it is very unfortunate that the time of the Milad of the Prophet ﷺ has become the time of accusation, excommunication or takfir, blasphemy, criticism of blasphemy, extremism and violence. The time of the Milad of the Prophet ﷺ is supposed to be the time of reflection, studying his seerah ﷺ and following his example. But for many political reasons, and sometimes out of ignorance, the Milad of the Prophet has become very controversial in the Muslim world. While it is not very difficult to defend Islam as a religion of peace, and tolerance, and mercy, and forgiveness, it is unfortunate that many Muslim movements or groups, they prove everything that critics of Islam are saying. Intolerance, violence, ignorance, bloodshed, and so on and so forth. Extremism has become the name of the game. Some consider even the word Milad is a dirty word. It should not be mentioned because anything has to do with the Milad is tantamount to heresy and blasphemy and shirk and so on and so forth. Don't talk about the Milad, never celebrate or do any activities around the time of Milad because this is bid'ah and bad thing. On the other extreme, that if you don't celebrate the Milad of the Prophet, then you are not Muslim. And I'm not exaggerating here. I received phone calls. I perhaps shared with you before. Someone called me and he asked me whether you celebrate the Milad or not, and whether you Hanafi or Shafi'i and Sunni or Shia and all these questions. And I asked him, why are you asking these questions? He said, because I have to determine whether I can pray behind you or not. And then I had a discussion with him and said, yeah, if you don't celebrate the Milad, if you say the Prophet is a human being, then you are not Muslim and I cannot pray behind you. And he named all people that they consider to be kafir. Kafir is a big word, non-believer, infidel. And I said, so what do you do when you go to Umrah or Hajj in Mecca and Medina? Don't you pray behind the Imams in the house? He said, no, we don't. We wait until the prayer is over and then we establish our own Jama'ah. And we have fatwas, by the way, we have fatwas. It's very clear, very obvious. The guy is very poor and no knowledge, just following some fatwas of people that I've never heard about. And now, of course, for those of you who follow the politics in Pakistan, we heard about Labbaika Ya Rasulullah movements that want to turn Pakistan into a Muslim country. Their understanding of Islam as a Muslim country. And putting severe pressure on the army and on the government to achieve their political gain. So, one extreme, never think about the Milad. Milad is a bad thing, it's bid'ah, it's haram, shirk. And other extreme is that if you don't celebrate the Milad, and if you don't believe that the Prophet ﷺ, this is a theory of shuhud, it's called shuhud. The Prophet ﷺ is very much alive, in control, and he witnesses everything, and you call upon him, because he's not God, they say, but Allah gave him this absolute authority that he managed the world and the universe, and that therefore you must always call upon the Prophet for help. Not only the Prophet, but also the awliya, and the saints and the righteous people, also they get part of this power and authority, so therefore we have any troubles, call upon them. And the Prophet is not bashar. When I ask these guys, so Quran says, Muhammadun illa rasulun qad khalat min qablihi ar-rusul, aqul innama ana basharun mithlukum. So how do you understand this? I said, yeah, he says, yes, that's true, but he's light. He's made of light. And he's not like us. If you say the Prophet is bashar like us, then it's kafir. You are not Muslims. Here in this nonsense that we found ourselves in, wasting our time talking about whether a celebration of the Milad of the Prophet is good or bad, we are missing the very important question, which is very much relevant to us here as American Muslims, or raising children, youth in this country. The main question is how to make the life of the Prophet ﷺ, the teaching of Rasulullah ﷺ, was sent as mercy to all mankind, relevant to our time. How can we solve our problems, face our challenges by the teaching and the guidance that Rasulullah ﷺ brought to us, that made him, in the eyes of so many Western intellectual scholars, they consider Muhammad ﷺ as the only solution to all the problems we have in our life today. Many scholars consider Rasulullah ﷺ as someone who provided answers to the very tough questions we're facing now, in this very world. This is what Al-Quran says, أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And this rahmah is not rahmah to those who lived in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, or those who lived in second and third generation. It's rahmah lil-'alamin. At all times and places, people look up to Muhammad ﷺ to find an answer to the tough questions they have. Now we have this huge burden of defending Islam as a religion. But I'm so sorry to say that it's very, very difficult to defend any of these extreme groups who always find their way in front pages and very well covered. And I'm sure you have heard about what happened in Sinai last Friday. Mosque in Sinai filled with Musallis, 500 people, and these groups of ISIS people in Sinai, they conserved this masjid because this masjid is a Sufi group. They warned them that Sufi activities is shirk. It keeps you against out of Islam, and you have to stop any activities like Sufi chanting and dancing and dhikr, halaqas and all these things. They consider it to be shirk. One cannot imagine how could someone with his sound mind justifies going in with these automatic weapons and shooting randomly and killing as many people as possible. 310 people. In a gathering like our gathering here. Killed by Muslims, including 27 children, who were there with their parents praying Jumma. It's unbelievable. in the name of Islam. And these are the defenders of Islam, and they want to defend Islam from these bad guys who call themselves Sufis. And it's okay, it's justified. They got some fatwas from their scholars. It's okay to go and kill them. That's why fatwas are very dangerous. You can easily get any fatwa you want. You can justify anything in the world with fatwas coming from here and there. I don't know when we will grow up as a community. When we will grow up as human beings, forget about Islam. When we are going to use our mind. When we will do that. Islam came to make people human beings. He came to make them good individuals, good people, good community. But what comes, the all news that comes from the Muslim world is all about this. Extremism, violence, ignorance, killing, people killing each other. It's very heartbreaking to see these pictures of people being killed on Friday because they have different understanding of Islam. They made judgment. You know, to kill someone in Islam is a huge thing. Yeah, in some cases, you know, people are judged to be killed. Those who kill people intentionally, then the punishment in Islam is there. But this has to go through a very long due process. It's not that easy and simple. If there's any, doubt, then the punishment will significantly reduced. But something wrong here. These people got quote-unquote fatwa from someone. He told them, go and get, that's jihad fi sabilillah, and this you'll get great reward from Allah by doing this heinous crime. And they did it. And they did it. And this happens in Pakistan all the time. Sunnis versus Shias, vice versa, and Brewis versus Jibandi, and Ahlul Hadith, and this and that. And they have their own mosques, and they say that you cannot pray in the other mosques. If you pray there, your salah will be batil. These people are kuffar, they are kafir. And one of the main sources of fanaticism is ignorance. Ignorant people. It can easily manipulate because they're ignorant, and you play with their emotions. You know, Rasulullah, these people are blasphemous. They are saying bad words about Rasulullah. They're saying he's bashar, he's human. So therefore, it's okay to go and kill them and take their properties and their money, and it's okay to fight against the government because the government is kafir, and so on and so forth. Our deen, our Islam, our religion is not built on emotion. That's not aqidah. The word aqidah in Arabic is when you tie a knot. It's something that you are certain about, something that stays in. That's aqidah. That comes after rational thinking. That's what the Quran says. Think about everything. Question everything. It's okay to have some doubt and do some research, and you'll find the truth if you are looking for the truth. But for people to be driven by their emotions, their absolute belief in someone as if he's Rasulullah himself, and asking them to go and kill people on Friday, and they do that. And they do that. We have to be smart enough not to have absolute faith in someone. Because all people make mistakes. And sometimes are driven by political agendas. And working on people who have the enthusiasm and they have the emotion. They want to serve Islam. Unfortunately, many of our youth are misguided with these false emotions. The people who know exactly how to manipulate people, how to misguide people, how to capture their attention and their emotions and make them blindly follow you. That's very easy business. It's extremely important for us as American Muslims not to get beyond all this nonsense. I've received many messages and videos, and people are talking about whether Milad it's okay to celebrate the Milad. Are we still sharing this nonsense? What's the issue? What's the matter here? Are we still every year are going to bring this question up and call this sheikh and this allama and this imam and this mufti? Don't we see what we're facing? I was invited the year before last week to speak to a world religion class in one of the universities around us. And people prepared so many questions, very tough questions. And again, we have to make it clear that Islam is not Muslims necessarily. You cannot defend these extreme people. And people now have real questions. Our youth who grew up in this country, they have also the burden of answering all these kind of questions that they don't know how to answer because it's not happening here, but the media talk about it all the time. When will be the good followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When will we be able to convey the message of Rasulullah on his behalf? That's what we need to do. That's a huge responsibility, as it is a great honor to be among the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is just emotional attachment to Rasulullah, emotional, passionate love is not enough. It is not enough for our well-being. It is not enough for us to convey the message as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects us to do. We have to study and read. We are the ummah of read, iqra. If we don't ourselves read the life of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then why expect others to read and to find the truth on their own? We need to use our great gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Our ability to reason, to understand, to analyze, to ask questions, to find the truth ourselves. Many world-renowned scholars in the West, including Michael Hart, as you all know, who wrote this famous book, the most influential 100 individuals who affected the human history. And he named Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam number one, the most influential person in human history. It's Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Karen Armstrong wrote her book, Muhammad, a Prophet for Our Time, and she made such a wonderful job. She's a Catholic nun who became a professor of religious studies. Muhammad, a prophet for our time, for the 21st century, here and now. In the time when the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. We see this happening every single day. All laws and regulations being done by the extremely powerful politicians and extremely powerful money people and big corporations. I don't want to get into our own politics, but there are plenty of injustice going on. Islam has a solution. And when we say that, it's not just a word we say it. Islam provides an answer to all these problems we are facing here. So we need Rasulullah sallallahu as our guidance. America needs Islam, and the whole world needs to know about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله اتقوا الله وأطيعوه إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Before we end, inshallah, I'm invited to speak tonight at AMDA Sira Conference. So those of you who are interested, inshallah, after Salat al-Isha, inshallah, I will be speaking tonight about the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the program will continue tomorrow. So for those of you who are interested, inshallah, you can come today and tomorrow to this AMDA Sira Conference. Our Sira Conference here at IAGD most likely will be held sometime in March, inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك رزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا. اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث فأصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين ولا إلى أحد من الناس يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم، ونعوذ بك من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم. نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. نسألك من كل خير سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين، وانصر الاسلام وعز المسلمين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم.